This is your daily real estate syndication show. I'm your host, Whitney Sewell. Today, we've packed a number of shows together to give you some highlights. I know you're going to enjoy the show. Thank you for being with us today.
Our guest is Sridhar Sannidhi. Thanks for being on the show, Sridhar.
Hey, thank you for inviting me onto the show, Whitney.
Yeah, Sridhar is a computer science graduate and has worked in major Wall Street firms in IT roles. He is passionate about business. In his free time, he enjoys long road trips and nature. But Sridhar is doing deals while also working full time. And I think there's a lot of listeners who can relate to that. I know I could for a long time. And so just looking forward to hearing his story and how he manages that, because it's not easy, in this business and to do it well. But Sridhar, welcome to the show. Thank you again for your time this morning early, and just grateful. But to give us a little more about your real estate business and what you're doing in the syndication business, and let's dive into your superpower.
Thanks for inviting me to the show. Hi, listeners. My name is Sridhar Sannidhi. I started this syndication 3 years back, and since then, I never looked back on the syndication in multifamily. And also, I invest passively in multiple multifamily deals and other commercial real estate investment opportunities. I started this business after I tried to acquire single family portfolio, but I tried for almost a year. I could not buy a single house in a single family. Then I thought maybe I should get into an IT related company, and I started brainstorming, and I tried some IT startup, and then I realized that before I could gain anything out of it, it would take a couple of years. So that's when I started exploring other avenues. In that process, I bumped into commercial real estate. And initially, I was looking to buy some industrial buildings or some retail shopping malls or some other commercial office space. Those are the areas I was looking in. And one day, I happened to be at one of the self-directed area meetups, and I bumped into a mentor, and he explained about multifamily business. So that was my first introduction to multifamily business. Prior to that, I have zero knowledge about multifamily and how it operates and syndications or anything like that. Soon after that conversation, I wanted to join that mentorship program, but I had a few other commitments. So I had to wait for a few months before I joined that. I joined the program in March 2018, but first few months I was very, very skeptical. I thought that that's another program I signed up for, and without knowing much, because when you go to these events, right, you get motivated to do quickly. And then I took the quick action, but I did not follow through for a few months. But I started investing passively even prior to joining that mentorship program. And I waited for 6 months to see the first passive income checks. Once I started seeing the checks, then I realized there's some potential here. And I started networking with people. I found one good friend as a co-sponsor, and we have been friends since then. And we did so many co-sponsorships. And so far I did.
You're doing your own deals now. I mean, you've come a long ways in just a few years.
Yes, it's almost 3 years. In 3 years, I did 5 syndications over 1,329 plus units as a GP or a co-sponsor, whatever you call. And 12 passive investments, over 4,300 plus doors. Total 5,500 doors in 3 years.
Nice. So you've learned a lot in a short period of time and been very active. You've made it happen. What about, you're still working full time while starting your syndication business and doing all this. Tell us a little bit about, making that happen and being able to just manage that time. I think there's a lot of listeners who are attempting to do the same thing, who are wanting to be an active sponsor. However, most people have to work full time and do their real estate business at the same time to get started. How did you manage that?
Yeah, that's a very good question. I was in Wall Street. I worked in Wall Street for 18 years and in IT roles. I wanted to do something on the side, but my commute plus work hours could not allow me to do anything on the side. So because of that passion, I used to invest abroad so that someone else would take care of these properties for me. And 6.5 years back, I relocated to Dallas. At that juncture, I had more free time because I don't have any commute after that. When I picked that job, I made sure that I would not go for long hour type job, and then I have the flexibility. And at the most, I would allocate additional 2 hours in a day, if at all anything that spills over. So I should be finishing my work-related activities in 2 hours. So that is typically 8 plus 2, 10 hours. That's my allocated time for work. After that, daily 4 hours I allocate for my real estate activities. Now I'm not spending 4 hours because initial phases I was spending 4 hours to do the deal analysis and networking with people and learning new concepts and learning various other aspects of this deal cycle. So with this skill, I take the time that after work, minimum 4 hours I allocate for real estate. Anything beyond that is for my personal time. So it's literally my 4-hour commute time became my real estate time.
Nice. So it's just interesting to hear you had structured time, right? You had to say, okay, this is the time that I'm doing real estate. I'm going to devote this much time to it. Obviously, that makes for a long day. And how did you? How did you keep that up? And did you have family or other people that were just saying, Sridhar, this is crazy. You're spending this much time doing all this.
Yes, I'm married for 20 plus years now with 2 high school going kids. So luckily, I think I can focus more on my business because they're in high school. They can do their activities and they want. So that allows me to do most of the real estate activities and focus on this one. So my personal activities, mostly I push it for weekends and a daily work days anyway. I cannot travel anything and personal stuff. So I would keep the same attitude. Like if I were in New York City, I was traveling to downtown. 2 and 4 hours I'm wasting in travel time. So that 4 hours, I made sure that I'm allocating to the real estate and then making sure that I'm making myself accountable for that, saying that, okay, these are the activities I need to do today. And once I finish those activities, only I go to bed. That discipline I developed in over the period of time.
It's interesting you bring that up. And I've been asking almost every guest now just about, I believe that self-discipline is so important to be successful in pretty much any business, right? How did you gain that high level of self-discipline?
To me, I think initially it was uncertain once I started seeing money. So I think that gave motivation to become more and more disciplined. And because once we start seeing the results, then that emphasis on putting more effort will come into play. And then making sure that things are not getting delayed because we don't want any of the investors to get upset.
Sure. But what's been the hardest part of this syndication journey? To get to where you're at now?
The hardest part is sometimes things go in a different direction than what we planned. For example, in one of the syndications, I raised money to the extent I am supposed to as part of the syndication. And all of a sudden, people had emergencies. 7 of them had emergencies. So in the last minute, all 7 bailed out on me. Within 7 days to close, I need to fill in that money. So those kind of things I did not expect. So those things, now I learned my lesson. So I would buffer more into my fundraise aspect and making sure that I have more people that watch for investing than what is needed.
Today, our guests are Hersh and Nicholas Vu. Welcome to the show, guys.
Thanks so much for having us, Whitney. Pleasure to be here.
Yeah, thanks so much. I'm really glad to be here as well.
Yeah, Hersh and Nicholas are managing partners of Veteran Pride Investment Group, a commercial real estate firm focused on market rate and affordable housing acquisitions. Both Hersh and Nick are graduates from the United States Naval Academy and are currently studying at Purdue University for their master's degrees prior to operational service. They found their passion in commercial real estate due to aligned values with the Veteran Pride Investment Group mission through helping within communities via impact investing. Currently, the firm donates 20% of its profits to nationally recognized veteran and first responder charities. Guys, welcome to the show. I just want to be the first to say thank you for your service. Just very grateful for that. I understand the commitment that's required to make that happen, and I look forward to hearing more about that and how, just this transition and how you're growing your real estate business, doing all these things at the same time. I know the listeners, we're getting into this business. Everybody's wondering, how do I manage all these things? How do I make this happen? You all have have a great testimony to juggling all those plates at the same time. But give us a little more about who you all are and what you're up to right now. And let's dive into just to who you are, your business.
Sure. Thanks, Whitney, for having us. Pleasure to be here. You have a great show, and we're really looking forward to a great conversation today. So I'm Hersh Rai. I am originally from India, but born and raised in New Hampshire for the past 22 years. I went to the Naval Academy, like you said, and I graduated as a cryptologic warfare officer and commissioned, now pursuing my master's in computer and information technology. And while I've been at Purdue, I've had the opportunity to explore a lot of self-interest and growth. And through that, I've found real estate investing, specifically commercial multifamily, focusing on syndication and joint venture partnerships. And I've been able to establish a lot of great relationships and lifelong connections along the way. So really excited to share my story with you guys.
And I'm Nicholas Boo. I guess I was originally from Redondo Beach, California, which is a beach town just outside of Los Angeles. And yeah, like Hersh, just similar to Hersh, I also went to the Naval Academy and now here at Purdue pursuing master's in mechanical engineering. So I guess as Hersh mentioned, we both kind of got interested in real estate because we got an interest in finance and stuff like that as starting off. And as members of the military, we learned about the VA loan and some of the benefits that we get as military members have. And I kind of got us a foot in the door into real estate, but it wasn't until we kind of got exposed to commercial multifamily through the active passive income group and through other members in there who kind of taught us that people like us can also invest in commercial multifamily. And we were really fortunate to find Veteran Prime Investing Group and be able to align ourselves with that mission and really dive headfirst into commercial multifamily. And now we have potentially a deal under contract, and we're excited to get started in this business. So we're really excited to really grow in this space and really continue learning, honestly.
So guys, why pursue a multifamily business right now when you all are, you're active duty, you're working, and also pursuing your master's? I mean, you have so much going on, right? Why right now?
Sure, that's a great question. So, we like to bring it back to August of 2019. Nick and I had first stepped onto campus at Purdue, and we realized that, we had only I think I had class twice a week. Nick had class 3 times a week, if I'm not wrong. And we were just like, it's a lot of time that we have to ourselves outside of the normal academy time, from waking up at 5:30 to sleeping at the wee hours of the morning before you have to wake up again and do it all over. Being at Purdue, we really had the opportunity to explore our own interest, like I said, and it allowed us to branch into other areas. Graduate school is very self-focused and self-directed. So it's what you make of your time is the best use of your time. So, working on classes and doing your thesis, I'm not going to say it wasn't as much work as the academy, but there is a little bit more free time, not having as many military obligations during the day. So that allowed us the time and the energy and to build our knowledge into the business and to really identify what kind of area we want to focus on in real estate and to achieve financial literacy and growth.
And to add on to that, we kind of realized the benefits of multifamily pretty early on, like how the economies of scale could let you really grow your business a lot quicker and also honestly make a bigger impact, because kind of what they mentioned with the Veteran Prime Investing Group, they donate 20% of their profits back to charities. And as members of the military ourselves, it kind of hurts us knowing that there are people like homeless veterans who just don't have a place to live. And we kind of want to give back to the community in some way, either through direct donations to these charities or by benefiting the community by improving the areas and even potentially provide housing for some of these places. So we found out that by aligning ourselves with this company, we could actually make a bigger impact with the little time we have here. So we really like multifamily because of those reasons.
I know we're going to talk about, like finding deals and getting your current deal under contract a little bit, but speak to a little bit about just managing your time and how to make that happen, and we'll get into maybe deal sourcing a little bit while doing all these other things. But how do you manage your time? How do you all communicate? How do you know who's doing what? Things like that.
Yeah, definitely. So honestly, Google Calendar and Trello have been super helpful. Just being able to time block your schedule, because as Hersh mentioned, going from the academy to here, there's a lot more fluidity and flexibility, and honestly, kind of more rope to hang yourself with. So there were some times early on when I just slept until 10 and stuff, and didn't really utilize my time to the best of its ability. So I've learned to kind of block off certain times, okay, this time is dedicated for real estate, and this time is dedicated for my research, and then okay, maybe night times have some meetings, reading some books, do that kind of stuff. So I really learned how to kind of honestly just people say time blocking, but really just getting your calendar out and finding which times of the days you have free to do what you need to do. And with Trello, we kind of started picking that up recently, but be able to find out each deal, see which stage it's at, and kind of allocate certain parts. Like, okay, this underwriting right now is with me. Maybe afterwards, maybe for this current deal, for example, okay, I'll be contacting the insurance broker, and then, well, Hersh is the one contacting maybe the brokers to get financing. So we kind of have certain roles in our team that really help each other out. And from that kind of flow, I guess, we're able to manage this best of our ability.
Yeah, I'd like to add onto that, Whitney, that our major concepts all boil down to time management. You know, coming from a military school or a military academy, you learn how to definitely effectively manage your time, whether it's working on the weekends while you're over there and trying to find, the 2-hour window to relax, or whether you have to power through your capstone in order to get to the finish line before graduation over there. There's a lot of different avenues to explore with time management, and, the failures, they're not failures, they're learning opportunities, which, will help you structure how you move forward. And, we've kept an open line of communication with our team, whether it be on a group chat. Google Drive is our lifeline. We use that to coordinate a lot of different projects and tasks, as well as Trello. So it's using the technology that's available to you and trying to keep that open line of communication. And if one of us can't do something that day, then one of us will pick up the slack and try to make sure that we're all doing our fair share to make sure that, the deal is able to cross the finish line at the end of the day.
Thank you for being with us again today. I hope that you have learned a lot from the show. Don't forget to like and subscribe. I hope you're telling your friends about the Real Estate Syndication Show and how they can also build wealth in real estate. You can also go to lifebridgecapital.com and start investing today.